Hello everybody, welcome to Mark and Gary on a free. It's Sunday, which means a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be clearing up some character exits, I guess. Yeah, that people have asked about, because I did a video called The Next Step Black Hole, which was saying where some things have disappeared to, or characters that just vanished into nowhere. And a lot of people commented characters that they thought went into the black hole, but actually they did have like reasons that they left that were said on the show. So I thought I'd do a whole video just about the exits of the Next Step characters and where they went to. So the first character that I got a lot of was Cassie from season 4, and Cassie did leave with a good, well, she had an explanation for why she left anyway. At the beginning of season 5, I can't remember who said it, might have been, I don't know, but someone said that Cassie and who else left that season? I don't even know, but someone said that Cassie left because of the Next Step not making it to regionals.
So many people decided to move on after we lost regionals. No more Cassie, no more Alfie. Big changes.
And I think that's a pretty valid reason to leave. Like, you've got to go to the best studio that is around, and people came to the Next Step. They all auditioned in season 4 just after winning internationals. They all thought, well, it's going to be easy to get back to that level again, and then they failed at regionals. So yeah, Cassie left because the Next Step did not qualify for regionals. Staying on the topic of season 4, there was also Amanda, and Amanda also had a storyline of why she left. Like, the entire last episode, she was deciding whether to leave or not. Basically, Amanda didn't really know where she stood in season 4.
I didn't really have a good year last year, and I don't know where Miss Kate's head is at.
She wasn't too sure if she wanted to audition again, but after just winning internationals, and she didn't know whether she should be pursuing better things because, like, Eldon, James, West, who else left? Giselle. A lot of people left the team that year because they just thought, well, we've reached the top of our game, I want to try new things. And Amanda was still unsure of what she actually wanted to do and where she belonged. So she ultimately stayed on the team. She stayed on A Troop for season 4, but by the end, Giselle gave her the opportunity again to audition for a touring company that she was in, and like, obviously the Next Step hadn't had a good year. Riley had pretty much just not done a good job of leading A Troop, so Amanda was pretty conflicted. Like, does she stay with the team even though it's pretty inevitable that they're not really going to do well, or does she go with this touring company even though she doesn't really, I don't know, she was just in two minds basically of what to do with her life. She chose the team and she was ready to perform at regionals, and then Riley said to her, Amanda, you're not going to be dancing in the finals.
Amanda, I'm sorry, but you won't be dancing in the final routine.
Riley, don't do this.
Which I thought was awful, because they had an alternate, and the point of the alternate is for them to step out or to step in where they're needed. Like, they're the kind of disposable member of the team, which sounds awful, but that is their job. And Cassie was the alternate, so Cassie should have been taken out of the dance so that Michelle could be put in, not a random person on the team that's not an alternate. So for the second year running, Amanda was an alternate, which, to be honest, I would have left as well, so I didn't even blame her. So Amanda left the team, which, yeah, I don't even blame her for. She left to join Giselle's touring company.
So did you hear about Amanda joining the dance tour with Giselle in England?
Yeah, I heard. I'm so happy for her.
Another character from season 4 that left was Alfie. Alfie pretty much only came back for the finals of regionals because they needed an extra dancer. I remember the last scene in season 4 was obviously when James gives Riley the promise ring, but the scene before that where A Troop is on stage just kind of reflecting on the year they've had, Alfie and Amy end up sitting together, and they just both say that they're gonna like support each other through their breakups because they've both just lost someone that they thought they loved.
If you ever need anything, I'm here for you.
Thanks.
And then that's it. Like, Alfie doesn't say, I'm going back to Switzerland, see you later. He's still there. And then he just doesn't turn up in season 5, which I thought was a shame, because it would have been nice, seeing as Riley wasn't in season 5, for him to just be able to restore himself as a character and show people that he's not just all about Riley, because he was a really good dancer. The next thing from season 4, the next group from season 4 that kind of didn't have a proper exit was the Geminis, and the Geminis are who the next step lost to at regionals.
The Geminis!
The next step lost. And on my watch. I can't believe this is happening.
They went on to win nationals and internationals, which we found out in Amy's off season, which was the kind of short clips between season 4 and season 5 starting. They're available on YouTube. I'll leave Amy's one in the link below, but this is the clip.
And this year's internationals champions are Team Gemini.
Great. Looks like the Geminis won internationals.
So from that, we know that the Geminis won internationals, and then in season 5 they did come back. Well, Skylar came back as part of the Geminis because they were looking to recruit a dancer, so she wanted to take Jackie to their team. Seeing as they'd just come off a win from internationals, Jackie was like, sure. But then they were never seen at regionals, so that's why people were confused. But I think it was because the next step were competing in the senior division because of Noah's age, and it was only Noah on the team that was 18, so I'm presuming that Skylar was younger than Noah, which would then make their Gemini's team probably compete in like the juniors or intermediate, I don't know what it's called, but the next step were in seniors, and Gemini would have been in the one lower, so I'm guessing that's just why we didn't see them, because they weren't competitors for the next step, so it just wasn't really relevant. But I do get that it probably should have been like just mentioned a little bit, just to, you know, just because you've got to have these connections when you have a show like The Next Step that's been going on for 6 years. Just a sentence saying that Geminis were in the lower age category wouldn't have hurt. It would have been good. So yeah. The next person that people were asking me about was Skylar, and Skylar left in season 5 in the first episode after the auditions because Emily basically said to all the hip hop dancers that she didn't want them to audition because they weren't going to get in, but she kept Skylar, and Skylar did her audition, and then Emily got rid of her even though she was the dance captain, and Emily chose her as the dance captain the previous season, which I thought was a bit ridiculous because Emily wouldn't do that. Like, Emily knows Skylar's good, so she wouldn't pick her as dance captain then just chuck her off the team the next season. It was very uncharacteristic for Emily, but that's why Skylar left, because she went from dance captain of A Troop to being demoted to B Troop and not having any leadership responsibilities, so she went to the Geminis.
You've got to be kidding me. B Troop? Have you ever heard of a dance captain being moved down to B Troop?
I would never go down to B Troop. I'll find a new studio, one that's even better.
This is a mistake. I'm so done with this studio.
Another character actually that left in season 4 was Sierra. She was seen in the first episode. No, not the first. She was in quite a few actually of season 4. She was going to audition for A Troop again, but she messed up her audition. She didn't do very well, and she'd made a truce with Skylar that if only one of them made it, then none of them would make it, or if both of them made it, they'd both be on the team. So obviously Sierra didn't expect her to be the one to let them both down, so she expected Skylar to quit with her, but she didn't, so Skylar just wasn't on the team for season 4. It wasn't really said where she went, but yeah, she just wasn't on the team. I'm presuming, well, she couldn't have gone back to Elite because it was closed down, so I presume for Sierra she'd stay dancing because there wasn't anything that stopped her. She just literally messed up her audition. I don't know. So, yeah. Another character that disappeared from The Next Step was Chris. But Chris had an exit, so I'm not really sure why people were confused about this. Chris left his role as head choreographer of The Next Step in season 1 to go and be studio head? I think it was studio head of a company called Stardust, Star Power. I don't even remember. It was the company that Daniel eventually joined because Chris promised him a solo.
I'm taking a co-owner position at Superstar Dance Academy.
So that was why Chris left. Like, he had no other reason to be on the show because he was attached to a different company.
We've got a confrontation between...
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, I miss you.
Good, I miss you too.
But yeah, that was the reason that Chris left. People were also asking me where James and Riley left to. Like, but I was confused about that because I thought it was pretty obvious. Well, James has already left the next step because he's just doing random competitions and he's with the band in Lost and Found. And Riley left to go to business school, which she said in... I can't remember if Riley's exit was written into only the off season or whether it was actually featured on season 5. But in the off season, Riley said she was going to business school because she felt like she could learn a lot from that and giving dance a little break.
And I've decided to leave the next step and go to business school. It's always something I've been interested in.
So that's where Riley went to. And James was just, he was still dancing recreationally, but it wasn't anything serious. I don't think it needs much more of an explanation, really. That's just where they went to. Another character people were confused about is Tiffany. And Tiffany, people say she disappeared after season 2, but those might just be the people that did not see season 4 or just weren't paying attention. In season 4, Tiffany was in it. She was running the auditions for Giselle's touring company. She noticed Giselle and Amanda sitting in the waiting room, and she obviously introduced herself to them and was like, it's so great to see you. So that's where Tiffany went to. She got a job with a touring company. I've got 5 characters left to discuss. There's so many. And they've all got pretty substantial endings, which I thought were pretty obvious, but we'll continue. So the next character people asked me about was Chantal. Chantal was on A Troop in season 3. She won her battle between her and... can't remember the girl's name. Again, it's always this girl that I can never remember. But Chantal won her spot on the team, but her leadership skills and the way she worked with people and on a dance team were very much the elite way of working with people, so she just didn't fit in on the next step. She didn't want to change her ways. She didn't really want to work with other people, so she left because she just wasn't happy.
This team does not recognize my talents. I'm done with the next step. They don't appreciate what I can do for them. Hey, it's their loss.
She didn't really have any future plans set out for her or established in the show, but I'm going to presume she went to a different studio. She probably went back to Elite because it was still open then. It hadn't been yet closed down, so she probably went back to Elite, and then once it got closed down, I'm just going to presume she joined another studio. I could see her as quite a studio hopper, just trying to go somewhere where she fits in but not being willing to actually change her ways and expecting everyone else to change for her. So I'm not sure where Chantal currently is, but I presume that when she left the next step in season 3, she went back to Elite. Another character is Chloe, and Chloe had a good exit, I think, from the next step. She left in season 3 because she successfully auditioned for La Ballet de la Reine. La Ballet de la Reine. Yes, I think that's right, which was great. That's what the next step is there for. It's to build your skills up so that you're ready to enter the professional world, and that's exactly what Chloe did. She was back in season 6, which I loved because Chloe is one of my favourite characters. So she was back, and she was what was she doing? Oh, she was teaching Noah and Rochelle. She was choreographing for them, I think. Their regionals duet that they had because it was a ballet number, and neither Michelle or Emily is a ballet. Oh my god. She was choreographing Noah and Rochelle's regionals duet because it was ballet, and neither Emily or Michelle are ballet dancers, so it just made sense to bring someone else in. The last 2 characters that people asked me to talk about were Gabby and Becca. Gabby and Becca were J Troopers in season 2, and that's when they had their main storyline, really. They didn't really have a main one in season 3 or onwards, but they were there. In season 3, we saw them when Talia and Alden were teaching the J Troopers all about chemistry and duets. They were watching them, and then in season 4 they auditioned for A Troop, which I thought was really good to show their their growth and just their development. It was just a shame that they didn't make it onto the team. So they're in the show from season 2 to season 4. They didn't have an exit. I just presume that they continued to dance on B Troop, which they got promoted to. I presume they've been moved up to B Troop by now because they're not like little kids. But I think Becca and Gabby would have stayed with the next step because they've obviously grown up there and they don't really have a big reason to leave other than not making it onto A Troop. But Rochelle didn't make it onto A Troop in season 3 when she auditioned, and she kept working for it, so they might still be at the studio, they might not be. If I'd auditioned for the team and I was still there after like 5 years and I hadn't moved up, I'd probably go and look somewhere else to see if I could get better opportunities. So they might have left actually, or they might just have stayed to be loyal. Not really sure. So that was my clearing up of where some characters from the next step went, and also some, you know, little theories of where they might have gone. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like. Also comment below if you can think of anyone else that didn't really have a detailed ending, or you might just be confused about it, and I'll reply to you and try and clear it up. And also don't forget to subscribe. So the next goal for me is probably going to be 10,000, which would be immense if we actually got to that. So make sure you subscribed if you're not already, and also hit those notifications on, even though I upload every Sunday at 8 AM UK time. It'd just be, you know, a bit easier for you if the notification pops right up and you can just click on it. I'll see you next week for a new video, guys. Bye!